All right, welcome to the Star Trek Rewatch, where every Thursday I watch an episode of Star Trek, the original series, and then I come here, I read the entry or the summary from Alan Asherman's Star Trek Compendium, give a few of my personal thoughts and feelings on the episode, kind of ranking it, and then, you know, open up the comments for your thoughts, see what you think about it. So, we're going to jump right into it. We have made it to the second season. This is the debut episode of season number 2 called Amok Time. This episode was filmed in June of 1967 and it broadcast in September of 67. The writer was Theodore Sturgeon, the director was Joseph Pevney, the composer for this episode was Gerald Fried. Really great score on this one, by the way. I love the whole, you know, you know that score when they're fighting. I mean, that's really great. It does get recycled. Great piece of music. Fantastic. Photographic effects were done by the Westheimer Company. Now we'll read the entry. When Mr. Spock starts behaving oddly, Captain Kirk asks Dr. McCoy to examine the Vulcan. McCoy reports that Spock is undergoing serious internal processes that will be fatal if they continue. Spock explains to Kirk confidentially that he has entered Ponfar, the Vulcan mating cycle. This is going to pop up in other Star Trek episodes. Specifically, I can think of an episode in Enterprise where our Vulcan crew member there goes through Ponfar, which until that time I thought it was just a male thing, but I guess they retcon it and female Vulcans can go through it too. So maybe that's why people didn't like that, but we'll continue. A lot of people don't like Enterprise. I do. Let's see here. If Spock does not return to Vulcan immediately to fulfill rituals and obligations that will culminate in his taking a wife, he will die. Yeah, you can tell this episode was written by a man, if you know what I'm saying, right? The captain disobeys other orders and takes Spock to Vulcan instead. Kirk and McCoy are invited to accompany Spock as he undergoes the ceremony of, I'm going to butcher this, Kunat Kalafi, marriage or challenge. Spock's aged relative T'Pau, an esteemed political figure in Federation circles, conducts the ceremony, which does not prove to be as simple as Captain Kirk expected it to be. T'Pring, Spock's betrothed bride, chooses ritual combat, demanding that Spock fight Kirk to the death. McCoy injects Kirk with the medication that makes it appear that Spock has killed his captain. After Spock returns to the Enterprise and learns that his captain is really alive and well, the Vulcan shows the first moment of emotion he has ever expressed of his own accord. Spock's feelings cancel out his mating urge, and Kirk's professional neck is saved as Starfleet Command approves T'Pau's request for the Enterprise to divert to Vulcan. There's a note in here that basically says that Theodore Sturgeon, who wrote this script, had a lot to do with developing the Vulcan culture and everything down to like the wardrobe even. It says that he suggested the wardrobes and which fabrics would look best and other specialized details. So, yeah, what did he say? Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this. I'm going to just go to my personal thoughts. If you want to know the rest of what Alan Asherman has to say, pick up the compendium. If you're like a hardcore Star Trek fan, like this is great. But personal feelings on this one. My favorite part of the episode for Spock's dialogue was after he thinks he's killed Kirk. He strangles him with they fight, like they have the big thing with the knife blade on the end and the big like heavy metal thing on the opposite end, and he like cuts Kirk's shirt open across the chest. I was like, that thing's razor sharp. So we get a Captain Kirk like ripped shirt thing, which is something that pops up over and over again. And then they switch weapons. They get like this I don't know, it looks like a ribbon with like a kind of like a ball on the end of it, and he like trips Kirk up with it. But after McCoy injects Kirk and Spock thinks that he's killed him, to pray or to Pow, right? She says they exchange the whole pleasantries, live long and prosper. And she says back to Spock, live long and prosper, Spock. And he says, I shall do neither. I have killed my captain and my friend. Thought that was great. That was probably my favorite line on the entire episode. So it's a really great one. It's a really good season opener. There are some really absolute bangers this season. Some of my favorite ones are coming up real quick. I can't remember what's next week, but I know Mirror Mirror is coming up, and the Doomsday Machine, which is I'm really looking forward to rewatching that one. Other notable things that happened in this episode. Let's see. Chekhov makes his first appearance. Walter Koenig. So he will be with us for the season 2 and then season 3. I guess the Beatles, or was it the Beatles or the Monkees? Well, whatever. You had the British invasion of America going on. So he's got on a really bad wig in this. I mean, it's horrible, right? His wig looks absolutely awful. But they put him in the show as sex appeal to the young women that were experiencing Beatlemania. So, alrighty then. I guess I got nothing else to say. Let me know what you think about this one. I think this is probably upper half. I don't know if this would make my top 10 because we've got another episode this season where we get more Vulcan culture called Journey to Babel, and I probably rate Journey to Babel maybe slightly above this. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. So anyways, comment below. And as always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.